Phonics is arguably the largest buzzword in all of science of reading. And some people believe that, if they add phonics, systematic, explicit phonics instruction to their literacy block, they are, doing science of reading. And while it is going to greatly improve your students' ability to decode, it is just one piece of the science of reading puzzle. So I want to throw that caveat in right away. But yes, phonics is extremely important to a child's literacy development, much like phonological awareness. It really is learning that there is a predictable relationship between the sounds and letters. And this phonics instruction really allows children to apply this relationship to familiar as well as unfamiliar words as they begin to read with fluency. There are 26 letters in our alphabet. There are 44 speech sounds and 74 phonograms. So this explicit systematic phonics instruction really starts to become important because if a student can understand phonograms and the spelling rules that govern them, they can unlock the mystery, if you will, of 98% of words in the English language. So this means that part of your explicit systematic phonics instruction is teaching students the ways that words, or the relationship between sounds and words, right? No longer are we saying when two vowels go walking, the first one does the talking, because, well, that's not true more than half of the time. And there are so many other ways to make a word say its name. For example, there are, I want to say 12 or 13 ways to spell the long E sound. And students need to know how to spell words with long E sounds. What are the rules that govern the different ways to make the E say its long sound? And that is where we come in, teaching them all of the ways to do that. Rather than having students discover that on their own through reading lots of books, we explicitly and systematically teach them the relationship between letters and the sounds that they make. Now, many of the resources that we'll be sharing with you today have to do with free decodable readers. Decodable readers get a pretty bad rap. I used to be a critic of them as well, but phonics really can't and shouldn't be done in isolation. I think about decodable text like I think about training wheels. It's an instructional strategy to help promote and really solidify the phonic rules or patterns that a student has been learning about. It is absolutely not forever. One of the arguments, right, is that, well, they are boring. And I think, and that used to be one of my criticisms as well, right? It's going to kill the love of reading. But I've since learned that the alternative for some students without decodable text is to never learn to read. And that's not fun either. So again, this is just a short-term, temporary tool for students until they've mastered the phonics patterns and can begin to read with fluency. Another common criticism is, well, they're not working on their comprehension. How am I supposed to teach comprehension skills with these texts? And the answer is you should not. Comprehension should really be taught and utilized, if you will, during shared reading time. Because yeah, these with authentic texts, right? So on that note, decodable readers are going to help ensure students become strong and confident readers who have the habit of decoding rather than guessing. It's a scaffold instructional tool to help students learn to decode. There's going to be a close match between letter-sound relationships represented in the text and those that the reader has been taught. Additionally, there's not going to be as much picture support that may be present in some of the leveled readers that you may or may not have used in the past that encourage guessing. Now, my last little plug for Decodables is that I want to share a finding from Wiley Blevins. He conducted a study in the year 2000, and he found that first grade students who used decodable texts in their classroom outperformed the control group that was using authentic literature in accuracy, in phonics, and spelling, as well as in affective. So the group that used decodable text actually had higher motivation to read than the group that used trade literature. So if you haven't already started to implement decodable readers in your kindergarten, first grade classroom, I would highly recommend it. And we have some great resources for you to get started.